let's talk a little bit about the difference between controlling and empowering leaders. I asked you to kind of define where you fell in that kind of continuum. The controlling leader directs, absolutely, usually micromanages, comes from a belief of that people can't be trusted, that employees can't be trusted to do what they need to do. From the belief that the only way they can ensure the job gets done right is what? That's right, do it themselves. Do it themselves. And that's their belief system. So they micromanage, incredible oversight, which of course creates a funnel, right? I mean, it's a bottleneck. Nothing can go faster than the micromanager because the micromanager is controlling everything. So that's a controller. The empower, on the other hand, motivates, encourages, inspires, elicits feedback, lots of feedback. I want input. If I'm an empowering leader, I want a lot of input. I come from the belief, the reason I act the way I do as an empowering leader is I come from the belief that people are good, that by and large, employees come to work because they want to do a decent job, and that given the opportunity and given the support by me, they will do a good job. They can be successful. And speaking of success, for an empowering leader, we look at success as success of those people who are following us. If they are successful, if we see they are successful, and they know they are successful, then poof, that's us. We're successful too. When I set it up like that, it's real easy to say, okay, all right, Kevin, got it. Controllers, bad. Empowerers, good. Sort of. It's not quite that simple, and I'll tell you why. There are times that we'll find ourselves in a controlling mode. A deadline that came upon us that was totally unexpected, and we have new employees, and we have a process that hasn't been tested, and we have a variety of variables that all just kind of combine to create a perfect storm. That could cause a controlling environment. Could. Now, truthfully, it's kind of like the arsonist that sets a building on fire who also happens to be a fireman. If he rescues someone from a fire he set, is he a hero? I don't think so. So if we are the cause of this deadline looming right in front of us, then that's probably not what I'm talking about. But generally, controlling is not where we want to be. We are accomplishing a task, and in all fairness, a lot of people kind of meander through their life as a leader, as a controller. And they do so by micromanaging tasks. They got their hand on everything. They make sure something happens. And folks, it does happen. So those tasks actually do get completed. What doesn't happen is no one gets developed. No one gets to be bigger, better, stronger, faster, so they can contribute more in the future. And that ought to be our key, right? I mean, even selfishly, as a leader, wouldn't I want those people working for me to do more? I got to tell you, I feel like it's an IQ test. The more they do, the less I'm doing. They're happy, I'm happy. This is good, right? So clearly, it's not necessarily bad that control and good empower. Just realize controlling mode is immediate and has no long-term residual value. Empowering leadership, however, does. It develops people over time, allows them to become bigger, better, stronger, faster, provide themselves as a resource to the organization as well as us as leaders, as well as give them a lot more contentment and satisfaction with their job. Okay, so we continue to kind of talk about these empowering leaders and the successful leaders who exhibit empowering traits and tendencies. There are some principles. There's just a couple of really targeted principles that allow us to identify what an empowering leader really looks like. For instance, empowering leaders have a driving passion to realize their vision. Remember earlier we talked about they have a vision, they turn that vision into reality, and they support and encourage others to support them, people, to support their vision. So they have a driving passion in pursuing that vision. Now that passion is identified in several ways. One, they absolutely know what they want. They're clear on what they want. They don't kind of wander around aimlessly asking for a variety of things. They're headed down a path. They want your help, but they're headed down a very specific path. Okay, now two, they don't meander around. I mentioned that earlier, but they're not mindless. Their days are organized. Why? They have the passion. They're committed. They have a vision. They're committed to the vision. And so they need that time. They need every step of the day to head directly toward that vision. The last two, I think, are really key. One, empowering leaders. They're concerned with outcomes. These are the absolute pinnacle of results-based people. They have a vision. That's their goal, the vision. The process, not so much. You know, they may have some ideas about the process. They may help you with it. They may even make suggestions. But frankly, they're concerned about the result. They want the result. They're going to work toward that result. So they're very much results or outcome-focused people. Big deal. And then finally, I mentioned that they use their vision to rise above. You know, we'll always have setbacks. We'll have some short-term failures. We'll have some adversity kind of jumps up in our face. This stuff occurs all the time. We know it's going to occur. Empowering leaders use that vision, the passion behind that vision. They use that, and they use it to help them rise above. They rise above adversity. They rise above some of those short-term failures. They rise above some of the conflicts that might otherwise derail other people, lesser leaders. The other sort of key principle, if you will, of empowering leaders is quite simply, it's trust. They build and sustain trust. Empowering leaders build and sustain trust. Now, it's real easy for us to think about trust as this soft, squishy thing that we can't get our arms around, and you're thinking, come on, Kevin, my eyes are rolling, you know, I'm going to doze off. Now you're talking about that uber soft skill stuff. Not so much. We can define trust. We can lay out what trust looks like. And in doing so, we know where it is. We know where to find it. We know when we don't have it. Trust is very simple. Trust is comprised of three elements. They're right here. One, competence. For us to trust a leader, we must believe them competent. Now, competent in this regard means whatever it is we personally think a leader should be doing to achieve business goals. That this leader does what the business wants them to do to achieve business goals. So they're competent. Two, they have integrity. Integrity is critical. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Simplest definition I can think of integrity. Do you do what you say you're going to do? If you don't, prepare yourself, leader. You're going to have a degree of mistrust in your organization. And then finally, and this is key, folks, listen, this is really, really key. Empowering leaders must have compassion. Now, I don't mean we go around giving hugs. We don't have to do that. Unless you want to, we don't have to do that. What I do mean is that empowering leaders obviously and demonstrably care about the employees that are working with and for them as much as they do themselves. They step up and they show it through their actions, through what they do for them, that they actually care about what goes on in that world, in the world of that employee. So trust, it's not this hard to get jello sort of stuff that we never know what it is. It's got some pretty specific conditions that create it. Empowering leaders know this, and empowering leaders use it to the benefit of their vision.